Okay, and here we go, Mojo. The action's already started as there's a hill rush coming in from Oops.
There is really head-on tactics here. Oops wants to get dominance of the middle, so they would get that kind of control. Utopia is trying to get boost and playing a bit more passive with sending Papa all the way in the village.
Algo.
And he's not alone.
Algo just able to get around. So we see the hill climbs from both teams taking the safe way around, as Milosh is the one that goes around the bottom way, not the safe way around. Both teams have the hill, but they have it at completely different ends, using those two different boosts we were talking about from the middle. Now, this is sides that you can do this even if you're playing randoms 15 versus 15, as Cameo and Mayland are the first two guys to take shots at. Mayland actually getting wrecked a bit here in his TVPs. He's down to 594 health as Camille takes another shot, just poking his head around the corner. They're trying to get the jump onto Bishu and Shoku. Shoku's getting shots back into Feaster. Algo's coming round here with full health now. Shoku taking a lot of damage. Bishu taking a lot of damage. Can he back off? But Milosh comes round and gets a kill in as well. So Algo kills Shoku. Milosh is able to get shots into Algo and also into Camille, but Camille and Algo are able to turn their guns back as Milosh drops as well. So 2 tanks down for Utopia. Oops have lost 1 tank in Mayland. Fighting carrying on in middle here as Forbidden's getting dropped. There's a wrap around here from Muka and Papa Powan as they're going to try and get a drop into Percusiat. Percusiat's fighting off against Wilkie, but he gets dropped as well. Now, Feaster and Camille and Algo are going to drop off the hill. Utopia have the hill. Oops are trying to run away and reload. This is an absolute crazy start, Mojo.
Yeah, this was a good start from Utopia, spotting those tanks. So they spotting those Utopia guys in the back. So they wanted to make immediate, overwhelming charge on the hill, and it was all fine until those tanks actually arrived, and they managed to clip them. Same as we've seen in a Rage Quit game. More guns in a play. M40 is something you need to do over time. It needs time to work, and now you can see the result. Insane is the only guy left here that can talk about this game. Vielki is still on full HP almost with that TVP. We have Papapavia, Unharmed, Muka. It's a really decisive game for them. I mean, even those tanks that were lost in the start, they're just good sacrifice because the second wave was already coming.
Yep, and when you see, you saw Oops there trying to rotate down off the hill to try and get away and reload. Utopia gave them no breathing space whatsoever. They jumped on them. They had the 3 tanks eventually followed them down off the edge of the cliff, and they had 1 tank wrap around on the back, and they gave them no breathing space whatsoever. So Utopia are like, hey guys, we really want these 3 points. We want to leapfrog ahead of Ding. We want to be top of the table. Oops, you guys can just stay where you are in 4th. We want these points.
Maybe, I mean, M40 is a big hitter when he connects, but maybe Lorraine is the better choice with this because Lorraine actually has a faster reload and in this kind of brawls has more chance to connect. That's why I say the only guys that were effectively strong pushed like this when they were attacking that won were Gohard, because Diplo in that game in Lorraine did 2.4 or 2.7k damage in 3 shots. So he fired 3 and did all that damage.
Got made them connect, yeah.
Yeah, so he connected everything and he was a big part of the game. But I'm pretty sure when we see Insane now, he will have maybe 1 shot of damage.
Maybe one shot of damage, not a lot of effective fire. So let's have a look at the stats and see where the damage came from. At one point, I thought there was a bit of team damage, but there wasn't. So it was Vilke who comes out there, top damage in Utopia. Algo coming second on Oops, but then the next 4 people all from Utopia.
Yeah, Algo is doing pretty well, but Vielki, Shuku, Bihu, Papa, Pavia, and Muka, they're all on the top page. I mean, it's not really a surprise because even when the fight started, Oops had to charge into them, so they were taking initial fire. Then they had an overmatch because there was more of them, so they were taking out Utopia guys, but the Utopia guys were more or less just buying time for those 2 butchers to come from the back and just weed out anyone who is on lower HP.
Yep, and then we say Insane got 2 shots off, didn't connect with any of them. Camille was the baptism of fire there, and his batch out on the top. Milosh came round the corner, and the 113 wasn't really effective, and Mayland was focus fired at the start, so he wasn't able to do much in his TVP. Doing what he can there, looks like he landed 3 shots out of the 4. Percusiat as well was getting caught in a crossfire right there.
Now look at this, Insane 0. And the rare occasion when you see Mayland and Milosh both on the lower side
on the lower side, and Shoku, who's in my fantasy team, doing well without Daki being able to jinx it. So let's look at the highlights. I mean, this is right here. Shoku's getting off his clip.
This is when those 2 butchers from Utopia 39s were spotted in the back. So Oops is pushing in.
It looked like Milosh got the shot into Shoku there. That really looks like Milosh's shot went into Shoku there. We have to maybe see that one again as a highlight, but it looked like Milosh might have got a shot into the back of his teammate there. Not 100% sure if that happened or not. But Milosh and Shoku were the only ones down here. And you can see this is what I was talking about. Oops tried to pull away to reload, but Utopia gave them no breathing room whatsoever as Bihu, Papapawin and Muka take out those tanks. Spoink trying to get up here is sniped as soon as he sticks his head up. And Insane, knowing that everything's done, he actually has his back to the tanks now because they know where he is for a nice quick and easy shot with no deflections, just to finish off the match nice and quick. So, we're going to go into round 2. Do you think Utopia is going to step 2-0 ahead? Or is Oops going to bring it back 1-1?
I mean, come on, they will certainly try. Like, it's a big advantage when you get the first map off with 2-0. That's like almost a match entirely.
Yeah, it's a huge mind games thing. Let's have a look at the lineups that vehicles are going to be used here right now. So, definitely mind games. If you can go 2-0 up at the start, it really puts the other team on the back foot. And some interesting tank choices here.
Well, Oops completely changed their lineups from yesterday, so they're playing really differently. No Arta now as example in defense, and they had yesterday in attack Lorraine instead of M40. So they're playing here now with Grille and with T49. T49 is really good when you want to decap down. Also, he can be used for some proxy shots and proxy spotting, so that's really decent. Now it's all about Utopia, what kind of tactics they want to use this. As you can see, they're using mostly balanced builds here. They don't rely on anything specific. And in attack, this is more or less just rotation-wise. So it will be experience, which if someone will make a really good trap or if someone will just outthink.
I was going to say, there's no prizes for guessing where that grill's going to be and who's going to be on it, as it looks like Mainland is going to be the one sitting on the grill, and he's probably going to be parked in that bush down round about K4 area.
They can actually push the middle with this also. Oops.
Okay, so Utopia on the attack on 1. Oops on the defense on 0. Let's see if anyone can make it 2-1 or 2-0 or 1-1.
That would be hacks.
That'll be hacks, yeah, it'll be quite frightening. Wargaming hacks there, Ekta. So, here we go, Mojo. Is it going to be another absolute mayhem in the middle?
Well, it looks like Utopia is all about committed to go there. As our friend Deadzone would say, don't go to the hill if you don't really want to take it. And they are going all out in. And as we said, also, Oops can go there. So it will be a big clash here.
Massive fight just about to happen as both teams drive up into the hill. It looks like
big connection here by
getting
Grille.
wrecked. Shoku getting smacked there for 992. He's the first damage coming out in the team there as Muka also takes a hit coming up. Muka's T49 stops coming all the way up there. So Utopia have the hill control at the moment. Oops all sitting at the bottom of it, but how are Utopia going to use this to their advantage?
Well, Utopia is now controlling the hill and in the immediate rotations are started. You can see by both teams play. Camille is already going on island to keep us if the Utopia is rotating, and same is done by Forbidden on the other side. So we'll have two 49s on the island, but everyone else is feeling out what are the tier 10s doing. Mainland cannot go anywhere. He needs protection from Camille on that island because he's in Grille, and if someone gets on island, he can get shots on him for free.
Now Spoink is taking a hit. He did have
what? He took another shot by Mainland.
Okay, so I was going to say that Spoink did have a dead gunner, but it looks like he just forgot to heal the gunner there as Forbidden tries to get shot off in Camille, and Camille doesn't get a shot back in return. Shoku, please stop sticking your head out, mate. I need you to farm me fantasy points, and it's not going to happen when you're on 72 health.
I mean, it was really risky from him to be the first one to pick because he already took one Grille shot and this is another one. So he is now effectively in any big fight a liability. And Forbidden here getting the best of Camille. Camille now is in a bit of a problem. I don't know, does he even have a medic or is that's a dead driver?
Camille's got a dead driver. It's a broken observation device, and that symbol that I got mixed up with Daki is not a fuel tank. Apparently it's a turret ring.
Oh, that's also even worse. But Algo's taking a pounding here, and Vielki already really damaged Fitzer. So Fitzer and Algo are on low HP in the back of Utopia. Utopia in one big push might actually cripple. Oops.
They just swung all the way around here, and Forbidden was dropped. So Utopia sitting all blocked up into the hill here as Oops are trying to get a surround on them right now and try and get angles as we see Bishu
And there you go,
Papa Pound
overmatch is
coming
coming.
round. Bishu and Papa Pound trying to get the jump onto Algo here. They can get one shot into him, and they're going to focus onto Fisha as well. He's trying to run away for his life. The shot coming out from Camel misses as Papa Pound's going to get greedy and go after Fisha. Has to be careful that Spoink doesn't get counter shots back into him, which he does. So now Papa Pound's going to switch on to Spoink as Fisher manages to get himself round that corner. Papa Pound overextending there, falling a bit in for a bait there. Fisher was lucky that Spoink was there on the covering fire for him as Mainland sitting up there looking for targets to shoot as well, Mojo.
Really great play by Spoink here, and Papapavian kind of really wrecked the chances of his team because he just lost about 1100 HP for nothing. I mean, it was not worth it. Just let it go. We've said it so many times. Oh, Spoink!
Spoink, you were way too slow there for that, mate. So we see the T49 of Camille getting dropped there as well. So Oops have 5 tanks in the battlefield here. We have Algo dropped for them, he's batch at 25, and Camille and the T49 dead. In Utopia, they also have 5 tanks. They've lost Forbidden in the T49 and Shoku in the batch at 25. So at the moment, both teams have lost the same tanks. However, Oops have 6,300, well, 5,872 on the board.
The game is far from down now because we see Bihu can take the control of the zero line and effectively really make a horrible time now for Utopia, for Oops. Oops has a good advantage now, but we can see where the advantage came. Muka, Shuku, who was peeking carelessly after, I understand, first shot when he took it when he was climbing up, that's not a choice you can make, and anything there is nothing you can do against it. And Bihu took out Spoink. Oh, it's a big hit. It's a big hit for Oops now.
So Bihu getting the crossfire there on Spoink is able to take him out as we see the rest of the teams just positioning right now. How are they going to play this one out, Mojo?
So as I was saying, like, it was really careless how lost some HP. Papapavian and Shuku, between them, two of them, they lost effectively about 1,500 to 2K for their team. If they didn't do those mistakes, and those were, let's be honest, rookie mistakes, the Utopia would be in such an overwhelming advantage now that the match would be just beyond the closure. But at the moment, it's still everyone's game, and Oops has a slight advantage.
Okay, so we see Bihu here.
This is a good response by Oops because they sent one guy climbing up immediately. So Bihu is rendered incapable. It's one-on-one fight now. He cannot snipe anyone up. Insane can stop him from that. And Insane still doesn't have a clip. So Bihu is trying to use that overmatch. Will he manage to kill Insane? That can decide the game.
So Bihu and Insane trading here is not going in Bihu's favor as Insane's reloading as well. So Insane has this.
Bihu is tracked badly, so he didn't have gun depression here to take out Insane. He had advantage. He just couldn't do it anymore.
So now the match swings completely into Oops' favour as Utopia only have 2 tanks left as we see Milos getting wrecked here from Fisa getting caught out as Maylan looks to come up and try and get a shot off himself as well. But Milos is getting shots into Maylan to stick his head up a little bit more. Percusia trying to get shots as well into Milos, but he's getting shot at by Muka. Now Milos only has 398 health. Muka only has 317 health. Oops have 4 tanks left to shoot at them. 2 of them batchats, 1 a grill, 1 a 113. Percusia can just do the push right now as he has all the health. As Milos takes another hit, 392, he's down on 6 health left. This is all but over right now, so Oops are going to take this one back against Utopia, and it's going to be 1-1 Mojo.
I can freely say that this was a gift from Utopia. It was filled with a lot of mistakes by their players. The rotation to do the water push was correct one because those batchats more or less were on low HP. Both Algo and Fitzer, they knew that they don't have most of the shells. So unlike when Kazna pushed on prepared the team, which had when Kazna played KB and Healthy was in that position and he was covered by several tanks, so they just lost both Vetso and Haiba. This was something completely different. They knew they had their overmatch, but you don't go chasing the enemy above some point.
Yep.
What Papapavian did was really careless. He was just acting like entire map is his own and there is no one else who will come out to the rescue. What about the TVPs? What about a lot of unspotted tanks? Any one of them could have connected him. I mean, he's really lucky to even limp away alive from there.
Yep, so that was a strong return match there from Oops, bringing the draw 1-1 to Utopia. Now, our next map we're going to go into is Steps, but before we get into Steps, let's have a look at the post-battle statistics there and have a look at the...
Probably Mainland first. No, it's
done.
Insane. Whoa!
So Insane in the back chat there, and then Milos in the 113 coming out second, then 2 more players from Oops, then 2 more from Utopia, then 7th is Algo from Oops.
It's really interesting because I expected Mainland to actually do at least 3 shots And he's not here. That means that some of the connections we see were maybe just multiple shots from Bachats in the same moment.
I think perhaps the two that Mainland did get two onto Shoku, but I think that's all that Mainland effectively did, because Shoku only had 200 or 100 and something left. And I mean, he's got 1,800 health. So yeah, I think that was the two hits from Mainland were into him, and that was it. But no, that can't be it, because he got a kill. So perhaps he got one into Shoku, then he got one into somebody else that was a killing blow.
Well, effectively, it doesn't matter because Muka and Shuku, two of the best players from Utopia, were rendered incapable entire game. They did absolutely nothing.
Shoku took way too much damage at the start. We can actually see here from the highlights just how crazy things went at the start there. So this is the overmatch from Algo and
This
Fisa.
is how Vielki, you could see how he clipped on Fitzer. Fitzer was rendered on really low HP. So we have Algo also taking a lot of damage there, and they were in a big problem. So that's how they were taken out. I mean, Fitzer actually ran away. This was a good play. Bihu going here. So getting another angle to play against it, but in the same moment you could see Insane was already on the way to climb up to intercept that. So it was a good read by Oops.
This is a bit where Bihu gets himself tracked and doesn't have the gun depression to be able to
Bihu had all the advantage here. He
that
just
shot there
misplayed.
is the one that tracks him, and he can't get a return fire into Insane because he would have shot right now, but he's not shooting, which means he doesn't have the gun depression.
The baguette kept him pinned down there, and really well. He noticed, he checked him. So you could see every shell of Insane actually went in a backtrack of Bihu. Bihu had no chance after that.
So that was Oops finishing with 4 tanks alive, and quite a convincing win for them. So let's have a look at the vehicle lineups that we're going to see here on Steps. Mojo, what can you see here if there's anything specific?
Well, we see from Oops defending a Leopard, plus an artillery, plus an I-7. Whoa! On other hand, Utopia has an M40 RT, not really something to neglect, and M62A and Grilla. So we already said Grilla is there to control if there is a big push on you, M40 to dig out the enemy, and 62A and 113 can be used to approach the caps. But on other hand, that Leopard can be a really big problem. We've seen when he's boosted, when Haiba played it yesterday, Kazna actually took steps 2-0 because of that, because it was really good display and there was nothing enemy could do against him.
So here's the thing, we're going to see we expect to see the Leopard go to a boosted area. I also expect if that happens that if he is spotted at any kind of stage in the battle, that the artillery is going to wreck him. So let's find out who's going to go 2-1 here, as it's the second map of the day for Utopia and Oops on Steps.
Steps, the most open map in the league. The attacking team appears near the rocks at the bottom of the map, and the defending team starts at the top. Bases are located near the railway and on the green. The best way to control them is to use the lowland near the second base. The attacking team usually begins the attack from the rocks and the railway, but sometimes they can attack through the green. Teams often drag vehicles from flank to flank, so both teams usually pick light vehicles with a good camouflage rating, but sometimes use tanks with a strong turret and even SPGs.
And even SPGs, as we see one for each team. Are they going to put the Leopard up in a boost, or are they going to do something different with it?
Well, Leopard should definitely go in a boost. I mean, there is that is the best position for him. Why else would you pick him? And there you go. They are lining up.
Leopard train.
It would be interesting if Papa Pavian is timing his time well. And he actually blind shoots this, because this is something he should do. Oh, they failed!
I was just going to say, Fiester's way too behind him, and that looked like an absolutely terrible train to do the boost there, because Fiester wasn't adding his tank speed or the push from it, as he had a massive gap. Now, Mojo, can you show us with your crayons here just how much of a difference this is going to make?
So this is really interesting. Shuko and the guys, they send spotter immediately if you saw in a line like this. Everyone else is lining their fire here, so they can take out if anyone is trying to climb this area. While that is going on, these guys are trying to climb anyone here. So Arti Papapavian had a choice. He could even aim here, or he could do a blind shot here, which is something I would do. Now, effectively, he cannot hit that guy anymore. But while that is going on, they are gaining the map control with Bihu here, who will, from the higher ground, effectively defend them from any kind of counter push. So they are playing for this cap control.
So they did get Spoink up this time round, but there was a bit of a collision there as Algo came away with about 64 damage and a little bit more. Spoink is going to go up into this area now. He is the mountain goat. He needs to get himself in a decent position where he can't get absolutely annihilated by that artillery, as Papa Powan will be wanting to bring the pain on him.
Well, this is now a stale game because Oops effectively just wants to defend that side. But Forbidden is taking a big pounding here. Good crossfire here by Oops.
Forbidden looks like he was perhaps splashed by artillery there from the Lorraine, and then that caused him to get shots at from the right-hand side. Spoink is getting shots out from his Leopard in this really strong hill area, and there's Forbidden looking from the viewpoint from Spoink in the middle here. Just keep himself careful for Utopia because
This is a nice position for Milos here because he's mainly covered by these tracks and only his turret picks. But now he knows there is not anyone there close spotting. That was just to clear, is there anyone in A5, A6 bushes? And that's why Muka is coming here. So he and Arti will try to be in position to fire on that Leopard. But Leopard is so far back, he doesn't need to even attempt to spot anything himself. That's why the other guys are below him. And look at the position of the mainland on Arti I've just seen. It's not insane. What?
so Mainland playing in the artillery is normally the
What?
main damage dealer for Oops, so there must be some kind of plan for him to do it. Perhaps he just has a better read of Utopia and where he thinks Utopia is going to be, but you're sacrificing one of your top damage dealers here. Even maybe this is tactical from Mainland saying, look guys, you need to step up and do damage because I'm going to be in artillery and it's going to be all up to you.
Guys, I want to click. I'm tired of driving. Well, Vielki took one for his effort here. But so far, Mainland is not doing the greatest of jobs of blind shooting here. We've seen some weird situations here when some of the teams were actually connecting once, twice. I think Dezek was the guy. He connected 2 shots in a row. Oh.
Great shot there from Papa Powen, just getting insane on the move there, taking a huge amount of damage. Now Muka's got himself spotted here in the corner, but Insane is absolutely wrecked there as he backs off in the bad chat. First person to take damage there from Oops, and it's a huge amount as he only has 341 health left out of 1,800 that the bat chat normally has.
That's why M40 is better than Lorraine, boys, because when he hits even close to you as a tier 8 Arty, it's really painful.
It's certainly going to be something to remember there. Now, Forbidden's playing peekaboo in the middle road here, but he does have a dead driver as well. So you can see the shots coming out. That's a Papa Powen going to try and get artillery shot. And he misses. So Papa Powen in this strong area in the E2 area. Now we see what looks like to be a rotate around the bottom of the map from the Algo and Camille coming around the middle here. Now there's no real coverage from Utopia to be able to counter this, so they might get the drop on someone. And Papa Powen singled out if they only knew Papa Powen was to their left.
Bihu is spotting their back, but the center was not covered. Camille and Algo were not spotting approaching, so they're already here in position to take out Forbidden. Now this is the moment where Utopia will be forced to do a counter-attack, because this is an exchange 1-for-1.
So Percusiac gets dropped on Oops, as we just saw Forbidden getting taken out on Utopia by this push in the middle from Algo and Camille.
Where is the plan B?
But now Algo and Camille are getting himself caught in the middle as we see Vilki coming up to try and get shots into him. They both have 3 shots left, so they could turn around and take out Vilki as well. Vilki has to be careful not to overcommit. I guess he's hoping that maybe his artillery can get a shell.
Camille, there are rocks on the road, mate.
Camille driving into a rock there, tries to back off around the cover. Wilkie still trying to get this kill here. Wilkie, you have to be careful, mate. You can't really trade with these guys. And Papa Powen gets the kill on Camille from the artillery coming over his shoulder. So now Algo's in a reload. Vilki has 2 shells left, but he's nearly dead. Muka's going to come out and try and get killed, but Fieser's giving him covering fire. Muka has to be careful not to come around this corner and get himself shot.
There is no one except Arty who can shoot on Muka now. Algo has to buy all the time he can. And Vielki last shot, but he manages. Oh.
Vilki there on 48 health as he backs off. Now Spunk's going to try and get some shots into Milos, who's able to get himself safe. Now Spunk just came off the hill. Utopia have 6 tanks available to them, although Vilki really isn't a tank as he only has 48 health left. Oops have 4 tanks available to them. Insane, the lowest in their team at 341 health. This is going in Utopia's favour right now.
We completely missed the moment when the heavy tank Percushiat died from Oops, and that's a crucial moment for us. That rotation by Algo and Camille, in theory, it is fine, but it was not well followed by the remainder of the team because counterattack from Utopia was bound to happen. It is really expected, known, and whatever you can call it. So in that fashion, when they took out Forbidden, fine, But where was the help from the rest of the team? Also, Camille acted like, honestly, he acted like he was drunk there.
Yep.
He hit a rock first, and he didn't get in cover on time. He left Algo alone. They could have taken out at least Vielki together, but it just didn't happen because of that.
Right now, every time that Utopia try and get a move and rotate, they're taking damage. Now, they do finally kill Spoink, but on the way to killing Spoink, multiple of their tanks again were taking more damage. The only person still in full health for them is Papa Power in 400 health in his artillery. Now, Feaster's going to try and come up here and see if he can spot out, get some individual kills because he's a full shell loaded. Insane just missing on Papa Power in there. Papa Power has a shell in the chamber. He can shoot. Looks like he may try and get Feaster. No, he misses. So, Feaster kills Papa Power and he's going to try and get shots into Vilki as well. Feaster kills Wilkie as well, but he's getting shot in the crossfire as well. Now, Mainland is dropped on Oops. All that's left is Feaster and Insane. Feaster on 94 health, Insane on 341 health. Utopia still have 4 guns available, 4 tanks available.
No, I mean, two guys from Oops on one shot, Fitzer and Insane. It's just not going to happen. It's too much of a fairy tale to even dream about it. I mean, Shuku is spotted here, that's fine. But look at the amount of these guys coming in. And Bihu coming in with 1500 HP. I mean, he can take care of both of them together easy on his own.
So, cap being started here by Shoku as it's down to 24 seconds. Fisa and Insane are going to need to cap rush if they want to do something, but the Wolves are circling because Bihu has 1,499 health and he can effectively tank against any of them. He misses his first one. He's going to ram Insane probably. No, he's going to get shot into him. Fisa gets a kill in return, but Milosh and Bihu know exactly where he is as the kill comes in there from Milosh, and there we have it, 2-1 Utopia. Interesting fight on steps, I quite liked it. It was quite back and forward right now.
Yeah, it was fun game to watch, but tactically speaking, Utopia did nothing special here. It was kind of several mistakes in a row by Oops. So they were forced to do several things, and especially Papa Pavian actually played really decent, and that connection on Insane was one of the more important ones, and then he also took out Camille.
Yep.
So Papa Pavian, as usual, good on RT, mail and stick on tanks.
I mean, Vielki nearly overcommitted there. He was like, hey, I'll go and get them. I mean, we could see it, he didn't know, but they both still had 3 shells, so they could have easily just turned and went, doo-doo-doom, see you later, mate, now we're gone. And instead there was like an awkward, should we go, should we not go? And then when they decided they were going to go, that's when you had Camille drive into the rock, as if just like, oh heck, who put this rock here, as we all like to say.
It was really, really confusing moment and not the brightest one for Oops. But let's see what they did.
Yep, let's have a look at the damage they're done in that battle. So Fisa doing what he can at the end there in the TVP. Muka actually top for Utopia in the Girl 15. Yeah.
Spoink, one of the top damage dealers here, but that's only because he survived for so long.
Mailand is somebody we normally talk about, like singing his praises in his tanks, and again, he's not even on the front page. So
yeah, but he played artillery here, so that's quite an explanation, because he had no way to shoot anyone in this game. I mean,
even with him playing artillery, you'd think that they had some kind of tactics. I mean, we missed Percusia.
This is what interests me the most. I know why was Forbidden killed. Like, even when he was approaching, when Artis splashed him for that low damage and he got connected, he lost the driver. But Percusia, he just disappeared. What kind of mistake he made? Did he get Amorect or something?
It happened at the exact same time as there was the fight with Forbidden, so we weren't able to watch both things at once. But, I mean, you can have a quick look in Battle Mojo and see if it was perhaps a one-shot from him, or how many shots did he take.
No, he actually got 5 shells into him.
Okay, so he perhaps got pounced on by 2 autoloaders or something like that. It's something we maybe have to watch. And maybe see the highlights if we can actually look at the mini-map, we might be able to see what happens here. So this is a start, this is a failed push. As I said, Fisa was way far back here. He wasn't helping this push, he was just looking at it effectively. It was really quite terrible from Oops there, actually. It's a really bad boost.
Not like, you actually need only one guy to bump him and he's up.
And this is when the boost happened, when you were doing your map play. So this is Insane getting smacked by artillery.
And this is the moment. There you go.
He poked over. So he poked over the hill. Muka hit him with the grill. He was at like C8 area. C8, yeah, C8, B7 area.
And there is his corpse. He tried to cross there to be closer to the fight to Algo and Camille. That's how he died, but Grilla connected him and he probably got tracked and wrecked by the guys in the back. That's why they didn't do immediate counter push on Algo and Camille. They were actually taking care of him first.
Yeah. So that was good play from them. That was why it was eventually the girl came down. So after he took out the IS-7, he then came down to help out.
He managed to
VLK.
cross there and be in a hold down for that side. He would be a big problem because only Artie would be able to deal with him. But like this, tier 10 just gone like that and
Yeah. And
being
a tier 10 you're taking, one of the reasons for its armor value as well, you want it to...
yeah, he would be a good protection for those two. Like this, those guys took care of Forbidden, but then they were left alone, pens down, and were like, whoops, we need to run. We need to run.
Unlucky there for Percusiat getting absolutely wiped out there within a couple of seconds. Now let's have a look at the lineups for round 2 here on steps and see the vehicles used. Now, Mojo, something I did want to ask you here is I noticed that on the team now it's an M53, M55. In the previous round it was an M40, M43. And we also had a Lorraine 155. So 3 different artilleries being used here.
Well, M53 is a trademark of Oops. They really like to play it. It's a tier 9 American artillery. I mean, I really like it, but so far they didn't manage to utilize it that well because most of the time they were hard pressed by other teams and boxed in. So they started using it against Ding. First they used it on half of the maps they played. At the moment, Steps is big enough map, so they might make use of it. We've seen Isne play it for Kazna, and it was a tight match, tight as it gets.
Okay, so let's see. Are they going to put mainland on the artillery again? Let's find out as we jump into steps. Utopia setting up 2-1 against Oops. Can Oops bring it back to 2-2?
And Insane is back on RT.
Or are Utopia going to set it off to 3-1? I knew before going in, I just wanted to tease everyone there. So I wouldn't, you know, it's like Star Wars, you know, let the Wookiee win. So for Oops is like, let mainland play autoloaders. Let them do the damage. Don't put them in artillery.
And really fast spot going on again on that 2 line. Pay attention to those blue tanks. They just want to prevent any kind of boost from Utopia. They don't want to let anyone go up on the mountain. And if they are down, they will try to deal with them. That tier 9 badass arty.
So Papa Powen going up into the little sniper's perch on the back right-hand corner, able to do that nice and easily in the RU-251 on himself. And the rest of Utopia taking quite an aggressive defensive line here along the B line.
We have some cover on the middle. That's why Percusiat is coming through the middle road, because he already has a person covering him. That's Camille all the way in the back. And the rest of the forces of Oops is here. This is a key position where Spoink is, because if Utopia actually presses them, they can pull back toward the RT and make some kind of a trap there together with Camille. And Spoink will have side and back shots on Utopia all the time. When Kazna played this, it was almost identical lineup here, I think. They had Fishy there, and he saved them the game from that position right there where Spoink is.
Okay, so Insane firing a shot. Oh,
there we go.
Great shot from Insane onto Milos there. Nice camera work to get the viewpoint from Insane and then switch into Milos. Milos was spotted a bit overconfident there from Milos.
No gunner for Milos here.
The artillery didn't have a viewpoint on him, so he has a damaged radio, which doesn't really affect the battle too much, but a dead gunner could affect him. He does have a commando that has Jack of all trades, so...
Still, that's 113, not the brightest tank for sniping in the start.
It's certainly not got the greatest accuracy, so it's going to affect him at some point during long-range shots. Hopefully Milos should be able to close the distance and just go for center mass and not try and aim for specific weak points at long range.
There is 8 minutes left, like... if Oops manages to do 2 or 3 more shells with this RT, it's more than paid off. It doesn't have to be direct shots, like any kind of splashes is brilliant. And then when the fight starts, Insane just needs to wait and see if someone feels a bit relaxed and stops to snipe and fire a shell on him.
Okay, so Percusia is rolled up in this middle and now he's a bit unsure because he's like, hey guys, I'm quite far forward and I don't see anybody. I'm scared now. So he has been spotted out. He has shot at somebody as well. So he saw somebody and Forbidden shot as well. So I guess they saw each other. Spoink flailing about here like a Magikarp out of water as he's trying to squeeze his way through this rock to try and
he's just trying to spot someone with a turret, so he's wobbling the tank left and right. It looks rather ridiculous, you must admit.
Yeah, it was like a fish out of water there as he's trying to flop his way through the gap. Forbidden is actually behind the building. He's not actually sitting up on the top floor in one of the windows there. So we see Insane just trying to pick out a new target. The next person who gets spotted is going to be missed by that shell.
No, 446 on Forbidden. Was it an arty or a shell from a guy? Maybe it was actually Percusiat connected.
Maybe in Percusia. I mean, nobody else is lit there.
No, he's not reloading.
So Percusia's not reloading. It might
Camille?
be the Arty Splash.
Ooh, Shuku took one for his effort
Fisa
here.
gets shot at by the back chat. Camille's reloading, so it might have been Camille. Percusia's just reloading now. So, yeah, I mean, we can't really see exactly where that shot came in from, so we can't really call it.
At the moment, Oops managed to almost even the HP difference that Utopia has by more heavy tanks and light instead of artillery. So if they shave off, I would say at least 1,000 more, that's when they should push.
Okay,
At least 1,000 more.
Insane moved up again as he's trying to scout for a target. Looks like he's aiming towards Vilke or Forbidden in that area.
Well, when the fight starts, the first target will be Forbidden and Milosh, that's for sure.
Looks like he was aiming further back.
Did Shuku take just some damage now?
Shoku took a nuke damage track, so I was going to say it looked like he was aiming further back to
it was just some splash or something.
He's expecting where tanks might be, because Shoku's not spotted by anyone, so that would have been an artillery splash. Damage tracks as well, which is quite common for when artillery splash hits you. I mean,
but there was no HP loss, so it's fine.
You're going to know from playing artillery and playing this map out so often where you expect enemy teams to be when you haven't spotted anyone for now or not seen the rest of the team for a while.
Well, Papa is still safe. King on his mountain. He is watching over his teammates. It's not like he really needs to do any damage on that side, but if anyone comes over 2-cap, that's where his role kicks in. But Percusiat and the guys, I mean, they will slowly have to go and gather up for attack.
They'll have to do something at some point, because Utopia on the defense, they're more than happy to just sit and let Oops drive about the battlefield and decide where they want to come from. Utopia not necessarily worried too much about giving up map control, because they have good vision on base 2, and base 1 is pretty secured as well. The only danger is that if they decide to push too hard on a flank, will Utopia have the guns ready to deal with it?
Interesting for me is the only mistakes Utopia made here is peeking there with Milosh, who took a big shot. I mean, in a normal game, he would have a good cooldown and he would be in advantage there against tanks if there was no arty. But with arty, he should not have done it. It's same as we had on mines when they were over peeking with buttshots and taking some shots for no need. Now, this is a move that Oops has to make. They need to push on Milosh now, but Utopia should know that by now. They should expect it and they should be prepared.
Okay, so here comes the push from Spoink, Camille and Fisa are going to get the jump onto Forbidden and Milosh. There's going to be a crossfire, so they're going to take some damage back in return. Can the rest of Utopia come in with the guns? As Spoink gets the first shot out, Camille and Fisa stop behind him. Milosh is going to get focus fired here. Is there any return fire coming back? No. Milosh has dropped. The damage come back onto Spoink, who gets absolutely wrecked. He's down to 116 health. Camille's starting to take hits back, but the return fire comes back out, and they've also dropped Forbidden. So, 2 tanks down on Utopia. Oops have not lost a tank yet, but they've almost lost Spoink. Vilke's going to come in and do what he can, but looks like Oops are going to pull back after what was a nice prodding maneuver there, a nice push. They're able to take 2 tanks and move back and barely, apart from Spoink nearly getting killed, barely taking much damage back themselves.
It's a big advantage now for Oops. He doesn't seem in HP, but 2 guns more now, and even Papapavian left his fort. Now, by now, Oops should know it, and Utopia is massing up for final attack. There is nothing they can do anymore. They cannot wait for Oops to come after them after the reload. And Spoink is down.
Mucka gets the kill on Spoink, but Spoink had barely any health left, so while it seems like an advantage, or seems like a good kill for Utopia there, it was a tank that was already dead, pretty much. Now, Vilke pushing forward here, getting shot in the face. There's a bit of a crossfire set up here, as they're going to Shoku and Muka are going to try and get the drops on Fisa, but Muka only has 2 shots left in his tank. Fisa is going to get dropped here if they can get the other one to connect, which they do. Now, these 2 tanks need to pull back and get to safety, but they can't as Shoku gets dropped by Camille, who's reloaded and is back in the fight. Milan gets a couple of shots into his TVP. Percusiat's getting shot and Oops as well, and his 113 is back off. Vilke is now dropped. Vilke's dead on Utopia. Utopia only have 3 tanks left. Oops have 5.
Muka left alive there on 1 shot, a bit more. Bihu on 4 HP and Papapavian is just a light tank, and he's not even in his safe spot anymore. Oops, he has all the advantage they need. They know where Muka is. They need just to chase him and take care of him. Bihu should linger there much more actually and help him survive, because if Muka dies, and he does no damage while that's going on, it's not going to be good for him after that.
So Muka misses his first shot. If he'd got 2 shots there, it would have been vital because he actually lands 3. Can he land a 4th actually? He does land 4. So if he had landed his first shot, he would have killed Camille there. Now, Bihu is able to pop up over and get a sneaky shot and run away. So Bihu on full health here for Utopia and he's back at 25. But his additional teammate is Papa Powin in the RU251 who just got smacked in the face there and is now dead.
Mailand there waiting in a trap, and he caught off Papa Pavian while he was trying to rotate. Now there will be a huge cap pressure here going on by Oops. They can linger there with most of their forces, and Algo with full HP, he is going to be the one to face Bihu, and Bihu has 4 shells.
Bihu can take out 3 tanks, but he's not going to do it. He's going to trade off against Algo. You've got Insane in the artillery. Just wait for artillery shell to come over in just a second, ladies and gentlemen, if he's off reloads.
Oh, a big shell here, and really lucky rolls for Bihu, because Algo had exactly 1600 HP, and Bihu killed him with 4 shells. But now he's in reload, and there is absolutely nothing he can do anymore.
Nothing, and this one's going to go 2-2. Utopia Oops on steps. So, this was one when we were talking about all the other matches earlier on at the start of the day. We said, right, okay, this one's going to be a real fight between these two. This one's going to be a real fight between these two. This one, it doesn't matter so much, but the two teams are really quite close to each other. I don't want to jinx it, but this map, to me, this matchup to me had tiebreaker written all over it.
Well, we will see, because next is Ghost Town, and as I mentioned many times before, Ghost Town is known as a map that a lot of teams can actually take both sides. So they can, one of these can effectively bring themselves to the brink of the match point.
Is it going to be a 2-0 win on Ghost Town for one of these teams? That would take it to 4-2. That would give them match point. That would be a huge advantage for them. Or is it going to be a trade-off? Is it going to be 3-3, and then are we going to go into the next map after that, which could be the decider one? Let's find out. Let's have a look at the stats first, and have a look at the post-battle damage. Camille there, Mojo, and the batch at 25 for Oops. And then we have Bihu, who, I mean, Bihu was last one surviving for Utopia. And then we have Fisa in the batch chat. And then we have Mailand. So Mailand has not been the top damage dealer much at all for Oops right now. It has been other members of his team. Camille is playing quite exceptional right now.
Well,
and then, I mean, they see it on the second page.
Is having a really horrible day at the moment. Look at this. This is the second game in a row on steps that he did 0 damage. 0 damage in that heavy tank. So that's not good for him and his team. At the moment, there is a lot of guys here who bit underperformed.
Percusiat was in the IS-7 in the previous round,
yes,
wasn't he?
Yes, exactly. He was
man.
there and he did 0.
It's a map that the dude's going to want to forget.
But we need to see what they did on those highlights a bit, so it will clear out our situation. These guys, most of them really play exquisitely well, but sometimes the mistakes are done, and this is the first one. Milos here taking a hit from Arti for no apparent reason here, and this was obvious move by Oops.
Yep.
Like, we all knew this will happen. And by now we have the same situation, both Utopia taking the first round and Oops coming back after them.
And this was bad again. Like, there was a missed shot in there where the tanks could have survived longer. And this is something I've seen happening quite a lot at the time. Like, it happened with Muka as well. Like, tanks could have survived longer, could have done more damage if they just got that one shot left. They don't get their full clip out.
In big scene, in big picture, it really doesn't matter here, because Oops already won game here. The moment when they pushed in and left away with 3 guys alive after killing 2 heavies, the game was done. There was absolutely nothing Utopia could do to come back, because otherwise, if Oops just doesn't decide to suicide somewhere, like really silly, but they are playing much better than that. And now we will see them on Ghost Town. Ghost Town is much better map actually for Oops than for Utopia. Utopia has a decent attack record here, but they're really horrible in defense. In defense, they're like 33%.
Okay, so let's look at the lineups here and see the vehicles that are going to be used on Ghost Town. Now, here from Utopia, is that Cap Tactics, Mojo?
Well, they have a Ru in defense. So
not from Utopia, it can't be Cap Tactics because they're defending.
Yes, they're defending. So Ice4 as an anchor, 113 to keep him in a field, and everyone else is like rotational force covered by a lot of clippers, Batchat for the lower side spotting. But On the offensive side from Oops, yes, they have 2 T10s, they can do that, and a lot of Clippers to cover them. So yes, they can press the cap if they decide so.
So yeah, sorry, what I was going to mean is a base 1 defense. We've not seen it quite a lot of the times anymore, that people are not going up to this boost area that they would normally get to on the northwest of the map or the top left of the map. Is that where we're potentially going to see this RU251 go?
It usually just climbs up and tries to decap. Like, that's the usual use of Ru when you are playing in defense with it. I don't like it. We've said many times. It's kind of... there is a lot of factors that needs to be fulfilled, so it would play well, and later he cannot really perform.
Okay, so let's jump into Ghost Town, third map of the day. It's all squared, Utopia, Oops. Okay, and here we see the split of the tanks going to their different areas as Oops heading up the right-hand side of the map and Utopia heading up the left-hand side of the map. Papa Powan doesn't look like he's gone up for that scout spot that I thought he would go to, Mojo.
He's actually going up and he's trying to boost. No, he needs to take an angle and he needs to take speed so he could do it. So that's just the normal one. Really aggressive approach here by Spoink actually here with the butt shot. Look at this. Is he going to be the one to trigger the cap?
Spoink, careful now, laddie. They know you're there. They're shooting at your terrain. Spoink is driven up, looking like he was going to be the one.
He's not even spotted.
He's got overlap coming in behind him. Looks like they're going to do a cap rush. Oh, Insane and Spoink driving, laddies. You just drove straight into your teammate, Insane. Where were you looking?
Triple cap from the start. That's why he didn't enter, so they don't know what they're doing. And look, they even left those rubble in front of Algo and Insane. So whoever tries to shoot them with HE shells or HE shells has to break that first before connecting on them.
That is a nice piece of driving from Algo
and that alley has 4 Clippers of Oops. They're trying to prevent anyone from dealing with them. So Spoink here is spotted, but he's more or less a bait. T10s are the real cappers.
They've driven out over the rubble, so they've actually destroyed the rubble as Papa Powan's able to get a shot into Algo there, but they're not able to reset the cap.
Death Alley, that will be where the action is. Because decapping, Milos will have to maybe suicide in one moment. That's why I don't like the rule. And there we go.
Is going to be the
this
sacrificial
is the first
lamb as everyone else comes in. Feaster is focus fire. Everyone's getting wrecked as Feaster's the first one to drop as Percusia is the only one left here to able to defend this area. Vilki is able to survive. He only has 590 health as the rest of Oops are trying to rotate round. Algo still in the cap, but Insane has left as Spoink is getting absolutely eliminated there on Oops. Utopia still have all their guns in the battle, but for how long is Oops still have the HP? Algo's almost limited, but now we finally see Vilki getting dropped in the middle. Now Insane and Percusia are going to look for tanks as Forbidden's on a reload, Bihu's on a reload, and Mucka's on a reload. They need to get the shots in right now, they need to get them to count. Forbidden is the sacrificial lamb in front here. He's going to take the shots for his teammates. Mucka's actually trying to block the shots in. So
Mainland and Camille, they need to run away. Take a shell from Milos, but run away, guys. Come on.
Mainland and Camille are trying to block shots here. They're both on a reload as Milos is going to come around to try and get shots in. Milos could finish off Camille here as Percusia and Insane are dropped. Oops are just driving into each other right now, trying to work out,
this?
Do we go left? Do we go right? I don't know, guys. What we're going to do as Utopia just get the surround and eliminate them. Oops just drove into that. Like, guys, what did you do? You just drove into trouble.
I really don't know on the start. I didn't see. Was the T-57 focused out that fast, or was he blown up as an Amorek?
He was focused. They came around and went, go for the one on the right-hand side. And
so Utopia did a good thing. They sent an Ice War first. It looked like reckless move, but it's not, because that's the tank that is supposed to soak up the damage, especially with his big track. So when you're shooting heat with T-57, they can like bounce a lot of shells, and Clippers are coming above him. So they have their free shots. So that's a really good part. Also, they did not keep the cap pressure, so they had 3 guys more or less out of the game in that moment. While Utopia only had Ru and Milos effectively out. But what I don't understand, okay, the fight started. Why was Oops driving so carelessly in that alley? You could see they took out Forbidden. And then they had Milos, a single shooter on one side, and every one of the Clippers coming like this.
The two.
Why didn't they just decide, just turn around, leave one guy, sack him, and run around past to Milos? Milos would fire one shot on some of them, but 3 of them would still be alive.
The 250Bs came running in behind their teammates as if to say, help us, we're reloading. And their teammates are like, we can't do anything. because they've just loaded and they're coming round. Why don't you just, like you
Well,
said,
it was really,
run
really
away
hectic.
past...
It looked like a billiard pool, and they were
Yeah.
just bouncing off each other.
I was like, why don't you just run away past Milosh, who's got a single shooter 113, and get yourself safe, rather than just sit there on reloads, turning your turrets, turning your tanks like headless chickens, didn't know what to do. Milosh was gifted the damage there in that battle.
What the 4.4k damage in a single shooter here in
3
this kind of
kills.
situation? Like,
Outstanding
seriously?
play. Dude is earning the dollars right now.
Oh man, never gets old.
So,
Mayland doing a lot in Percussion even, but the first 57, I don't know, did he even fire a shot or two? Let's see.
so it was Fisa was the other one.
Fitzer, 2 shots and he died. Like, to me, it really looked like he was just blown off.
See, I actually thought it was Percussia, but Percussia was actually lasting a bit longer there. Camille was the... No, it wasn't Camille who drove across. It was Wilke, who was the sacrificial lamb at the start.
Yeah, Vielke,
And
nice
the
4,
IS4,
but
yeah.
that's a different team. But
It's
point
like
in the
Wilke,
cap
just
and,
drive out, mate, and see if they're there.
and those T10s, they just didn't pay off this game.
Okay, so
And let's see,
Fisa,
Fitzer.
it's just focused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a focus.
And then Percussia is able to get the damage that he can. So you've got Insane and Percussia doing what they can here. Insane is the tier 10, Percussia, they're taking shots here. Now watch these 250Bs coming running in. Like, the 250Bs come running in behind them. Like, guys, we're reloading. And it's Camille and Mayland. And it's like, guys, like, why would you drive to that area? You just got yourself caught in a circle now. Like, Mayland's just standing there, like, looking left and right, saying, where am I going to go now? That was scary to see the two of them just come running in like that, looking for protection, when at that stage there was none. I mean, they were, like you said, just run past Milosh there. Milosh can only hit one of you. Okay, you might get a tracking, but at least two of you, at least one of you can at least get around the corner, have your loads, because they were just about done, and then turn it around.
It was interesting tactic from the start, but it didn't have a great future because simply Utopia was ready for something like this, and that's why they use an Ice 4. They just sacrifice him so he can soak up most of the shells, and they deal with the Clippers. Clippers are the dangerous ones here.
Yeah, always got to watch for the Clippers. So let's have a look at the lineups as we're going into round 2 here. Now, Utopia now on the attack, and Oops now on the defense, and we see a return of the E100.
Grille in attack, well, that's a new one, at least for me.
Now, I also wanted to say here that the E100 setup here looks quite brawlish with the E100 2 T57 heavies and a 113.
But we have E100 57s, that's fine, but then we have a TVP on this map. I really don't know why they like that so much. Like, I would rather even use a third 57 or 50B, whatever. I mean, it's a bit longer reload, but also big more armor and HP. Bachat 113 and then the artillery. But from Utopia 416, so they can pressure even the top cap. Why not?
A bit different from the tactics in the APAC region, where we had EL Gaming taking 2 tier 9 Batchats and then the rest all tier 10 Batchats.
Yeah, we were commenting like that can maybe work there for EL Gaming, but if they do that on Grand Final or somewhere,
yeah,
they're gonna end up like in the last Grand Final. Not so well.
So let's jump into the action here on Ghost Town. Can Utopia make it 4-2, or will Oops bring it back to all square at 3-3? Let's find out. Ghost Town, always good fun. But yeah, that match earlier on with EL Gaming was quite funny. We said if they get to something like the Grand Finals and they try something like that, they will get absolutely annihilated. It's a very easy counter, I guess, the Batchats. They just don't have the armor to trade.
Well, Utopia going for the lower side. They really don't want to pressure that one cap against RT. Not with that lineup and not with having Grille, I guess. I'm really interested in how they want to use Muka. Muka is the big mystery here in this game.
Algo only able to spot out one tank there as he does his early rush. It was Spoink, I believe. You have Milosh and Algo both spotted here, but they're in decent positions. Now, where is this? Where is this girl going, Mojo?
I'm looking forward to see it any second because I'm interested how they're positioning that 10 destroyer and what is his aim. So there we go. He's just covering Shuku at the moment on the top of this hill. But why are they using a TD in attack? It's such a risky move.
They must have something planned. Maybe it has. Maybe they can do something where
Can
he
Spoink
has.
climb here even with TVP?
Nowhere going
No, that's
nowhere
too
near
slow.
fast enough. I wonder if they've got some kind of tactic where he gives them covering fire into base 2.
To me, the most interesting part will be here. Papa Pavian can actually enter the one cap, and it looks like Utopia will prepare to push with everything from the other side.
So it does look like this. Looks like they're coming around from the south area of the map where they're all
Yeah,
kinda
exactly like
gathered
that.
up.
Like they just put him up and they push from the other side.
Could this be...
They just sacrifice him.
I was going to say, could this be where they put Papa Powen out as a bait and then come in from the back?
But they're spotted. So they're spotted, and Shuku is kind of pressing the the one line. So they're all spotted there, but this is the moment where he cannot go any further. This is the last second where he needs to turn back and drive off. So now the positions are more or less switched. I prefer myself the tactic when Oops played with Ru in defense and they climbed him on A8 position on top of the hill. Like that was ultra fine when Insane played it. Like with artillery, it's more of positional play and a bit of a risky one also.
We've had an AMX 50B at the A2 area, which I thought was quite a sneaky tactics. Papa Powen just getting shot in the face there from Spoink as he rolls back over the hill, and some players call this tank the frying pan for the object.
If Algo is guessing correct, let's see.
416. Oh, well done.
Bravo, bravo, young one.
Bravo, bravissimo.
Let's see, can he get connected from the back though for his effort? That's a
shot in the
high
butt
roll by Milos, but
yep.
it's a single shooter.
501 will take shots like that all day long. Can you get a second one, Milos?
Ooh, lucky little boy.
That was tracked, no damage, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was no damage for him.
Yeah.
But now Papa Pavian is in a problem, mate.
So the TD's moving.
There we go. Algo is clipping on Papa Pavian, and he has nowhere to go.
Yeah, Papa Powen going to get wrecked. And it was actually Spoink who gets the kill from the...
It doesn't matter. He was forced to try to go below Algo, so Algo doesn't have shooting solutions, but Spoink was just waiting for that.
So Muka and his Grill 15 has now moved into the town centre. Utopia has lost a tank. They've lost Papa Powen and the object 416. In return, Oops have some damage on Sealance and the E100, who's down to 1887. And Algo and his Batchat is down to 1299. So, health pool's roughly about the same right now. Slight advantage to Utopia, but they are down a tank because nobody else in their team has taken damage.
And Algo has interesting shooting solutions from them. Oops also did a good move. They immediately withdrew with all forces, so they would not be counterattacked by Utopia while they're a bit spread. So they're all grouped up, and now we will see how do they plan to approach the cap and decap this, because this is obviously the crucial part of the game.
So it looks like Utopia's plan, although they obviously would have had something to do with Papa Powen. No shots should come in there from the left, so they're going to experience it all from the front right now, as actually we see the tanks coming over. So we see Camille getting first shots. So Milos and Vilki get shots out with not taking one return. Milos does take one back in return, as Camille takes a shot back as well. So Camille getting focused from Oops, and Utopia getting shots across all of their team right now, apparently, other than Forbidden.
This is a moment for Utopia to just make a big counter push and press them in, and that's exactly what we see. Look, Muka and Bihu and the other guys.
Someone coming around this corner on the E100 as Bihu's getting shot in the back. He's going to try and get taken out, although Forbidden's blocking him. Muka's coming in there. Sealance is there taking as many shots as he can in the E100. He's left on 4 health as he now gets dropped. So Algo's on 44 health in the Batchat. He's going to be the next one focused on Utopia, but Utopia only have 4 guns left, one of them being Bihu in the T57 Heavy on only 122 health. Melan's going to come in and he's going to take out Bihu, as Forbidden and Muka can just watch this happen as they're on slow reloads. Forbidden and a T57 with a very slow reload, and he also has a damaged ammo rack. It's going to take him forever to reload right now, as Melan tries to chase after Muka, but Muka's running rampant for the team right now. Camille is reloading. He's got 839 health left. He's now dropped as well. This is going to go to Oops. Mojo, this is going to be 3-3.
This certainly looks like that. I still don't understand. What was the goal of having Muka in that gorilla here? I mean, I know I've seen him do 1 or 2 shots now. That's all fine. But in reality, if he played a clipper here, he would have a much bigger influence. That burst would come out and he would be able to run away and help his team with armor, HP, whatever. Like this, it was one occasional shot from time to time, and mostly in times when the fight was already over.
So 4 tanks left there for Oops at the end. One of them was their artillery. Wasn't really a factor in this battle. We didn't really see any big hits
just
coming.
A scare factor so they don't go on 1 cap.
But taking the girl on attack was a bold choice there, and
was a bold and
not one we want to see
I don't
again.
think they will do it again.
Yeah, not one. I don't think. I mean, there must have been some kind of plan in there. Obviously, we don't know what it was. We never got to see it. I'm thinking losing Papa Powen's probably I had the feeling that maybe there's going to be a bait.
Interesting part is that they didn't they didn't anticipate that Algo would actually climb there, although Oops already did it in one game, but with a light. So the only guy who could effectively cover was Milos, but he's a single shooter. If there was a clipper there, Algo would be dead.
The thing was as well is once the first shot came in, you would expect Papa Pound to be just running for that hill because he knows if he climbs, then he's dead. So he was trying to get under the hill.
But
it wasn't
Pavia was also in a big problem because Poink was vaulting all the time.
So let's have a look at the damage done on that round. Spoink is the one that comes out top in the TVP, followed right behind there by Camille and the T57 Heavy. Then 2 tanks from Utopia. Mucka and the Girl 15 did do damage, but another tank effectively could have done the same, could have been just as effective. Then Milosh and the 113 doing what he can. Next 2 players from Oops, and then 7th place Forbidden from Utopia.
Pretty nice damage done here by Spoink and Camille here. I was really worried for them in the start when the fight started and those 57s were starting and trying to clip out in a cooldown against 113s. It never looks good. But they actually managed even to reload. That's quite surprising for me, but it did happen. Insane actually did some damage, but Percusiat another bad game.
I was going to say, this is going to be one that Percusiat wants to forget. It's a bit like Carrie Berry having a rough weekend with Gohard recently. Was acting as very not so swift motion. Because his first name is Owen, people were accusing him of being called Throw-In, which I thought was quite sneaky off Twitch chat. But yes, I mean, everyone can bounce back. Everyone has bad games. Now, here we see Spoink trying to go for that boost. No Spoink. Nowhere near fast enough, mate. And this is a nice one from Algo.
Algo did it from the first, and it's not the easiest one to do. So this was really nice. And I believe just he was really lucky that it was only Milos here. If it was one of the Clippers, he would be a goner.
I was going to say, from the minute he has spotted, Papa Pound starts his run, but like you said, there was additional coverage from Spoink. Now, here, Percusiat's taking over the house now. Ceylons comes round, he's on a reload, kind of bold to come round when he's not got the shot. He gets wrecked here by Muka, and then a couple of other tanks shoot him. He's left on 4 health. Arguably, you could ignore him at that stage and go and shoot somebody else, but they shoot him. Now, Forbidden and Muka can just watch as Mainland comes through and kills Bihu. And then all that's left is Muka and Shoku. Shoku getting himself killed before Muka goes down. So I really
dislike that grilla. I mean, it's okay, it's experiment now, but I don't think they should play
it. Fair to say it was a failed experiment.
Honestly, I don't like it on this map on either side. I haven't seen anyone play that well against a good team.
Okay, so we're going to go into map number 3. Himmelsdorf.
This is a map that both of them can take. Both have actually around 70% win rate. Strong games, a lot of them played. Both can play overall. We've seen Utopia, they more or less started the meta with that flexible lineup with 1 Grille and those 113s and so on. And now, at the moment, they have in defense 350Bs and Ice 4, so I'm talking about attack side. And on attack side, Oops actually has a Grille, Ice 7 and E5, a bit slower lineup. So a lot of heal control here possible, a lot of rotations and some specific positions like pushing the 8 line with I7 and so on. Let's see what they have for us.
Okay, and we see the AMX 1390 on attack as well there, and Oops with an E5 and an IS7. Always find it strange in a way when teams take different types of heavies. I'm so used to seeing teams trying to like make things the same. Like you see,
just positions. Like some tanks are better fit on certain spots on the map, especially IS4 and E5.
So let's jump into Himmelsdorf, where it's all square. Utopia Oops on 3-3.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
Okay, and here we go. Can Utopia or Oops take both matches? Or is it going to be like we've seen on every map so far? Oh, actually no, Mojo, you know what's coming up in a second?
I think we
3,
should just
2,
surprise.
1. Hey! So, there's been a bit of a whoopsie there in the team setup. We're going to do a quick restart and hopefully everything should be okay. So, as I was just about to say, going by previous maps up until now, it's been trade for trade, 1 for 1.
Yeah, every time Utopia took the first one and then sorry, and then Oops would take the other one. So far, if it continues like that, it will be a tiebreaker, but you never know. Himmelsdorf is a tough map to crack, but it's not unheard of.
Yep, it's usually a map where it always gets the fight usually up at the cap circle, is always scrappy. We have seen some fights though happen at the bottom of the map, which have been really telling in that horrible one that we had in the alleyway, where you and Daki were casting.
That was a special kind of play, let's say. Yes, let's say it like that.
I felt so bad for the cameraman as well. It's like, how the heck do we capture this action?
I don't think anyone will be able to repeat that kind of fight anymore. But here, these teams usually play much faster lineups, and you don't see that much camping. They just feel out what is the enemy doing, and once they start the push, they commit to it. It's gonna be really interesting because Oops here has a bit of a slower tanks, so I think they will try some positional approach. And I'm interested in how will they use that E5. Will they try to play it over the hill or down together with the other tanks in attack? Because they have I7 that's really good for push on 8 line, the best turret there. And also they have Grilla that is completely not used on that side of the battlefield, so he will go over the top. And we need to see how will even Utopia respond to that, because they have 350B clippers, so will they try some trap? But Oops already played the trap. Yes, Oops already played traps, so they should be aware of such actions.
It's always nice fun watching Himmelsdorf. For all the people who are watching us perhaps for their first time, because we have a different game scenario, we have the 2 base system. The hill isn't contested as hotly as it is in random battles. You don't see 2 teams driving to the hill to fight on hill. It's pretty much.
We've seen some attempts once or twice, but more or less it just doesn't happen. It's not realistic. We are expecting big fights over the cap, especially around the City 1, because that's what those lineups have written all over them.
Okay, so City fights in Himmelsdorf. Always the nice. Do you think we're going to get some courtyard control?
I don't really see Oops going for that, but in all honesty, if Utopia wants, they can, but too many clippers. You need some harder tanks for that, and you don't want to play it with Ice Force, so no, I don't think. I think it will be just positional, and mainly the fight will end up on the city cap.
Okay, so it looks like everything is working now behind the scenes. All the players are ready. The match is just about to get underway here on Himmelsdorf. So, can Utopia take it 4-3, or can Oops take it 4-3? We're going to know in just a few seconds as the battle is ready to start, as we can jump into map number 4 of this exchange, which is going to be Himmelsdorf. And there's no intro because we already had that already. So, let's see. Everyone lined up here ready to go, Mojo. Can we see some tanks moving? Yay! We see tanks moving.
Just Mr. Republica song ready to go. Well, Utopia going first to check out the 1 cap. Well, they have the fast lineup, so they can afford it. And they are leaving Milos alone behind in Ice 4. He's going to stick his head in A5. We've seen him do it many times before. It's a normal one. On the other hand, a bit of aggressive approach here by Oops. Spoink doing a big spot, and they're just trying to see if Papapavian is doing a middle kind of spotting. Yeah.
I just realized normally whenever Utopia play, Utopia are always on the blue side because they have the blue camouflage. So if anyone's confused by this, don't be. It's just that the colors are given to teams. Now, Mojo,
they're trying to
break out
see
the
if
crayons.
Papapavian is like here, because that's why these guys were lined up so much. Spoink would spot him from this position and they will try to shoot him off. While that was going on, Insane was instantly going to take control of the 8 line, and they had a guy covering them from the back here. Of course, none of that happened because Utopia was not there. They were lined up actually to take a shot if there is a grill here. We saw Raging Potato who died actually there. So all of these guys will take shots while the light is spotting from here on that position. While that is going on, Milos is left here. So if any attempt to cap here is done, then he will have a good shot and he will buy a lot of time for his team. Also, they will need a hell of a lot of time to deal with him. Now we see Papapavian here. He can spot any kind of action coming down from the hill. So that's a good rotations from both teams in a start. It's a decent opening, but no effect so far. It just gave some info to both teams where the enemy is by lack of seeing them, actually.
Okay, so this is a nice screenshot from the previous battle there on Ghost Town. Just wanted to remind you guys of that battle. It's always a nice fight that we had there on Ghost Town. But let's get stuck into Himmelsdorf. So, Forbidden was spotted out by Spoink in that area where he was covering. Forbidden's now starting to go back up north. Mucka is just playing about in the same area. Shoku's covering this bottom road on the K line. Pretty slow, edgy start-up at the moment here, as we see a zoomed-in view of where Papa Powan is sitting all the way back down here.
Look at this. He has binos, he has vent and everything, so he can allow himself to stand here still. No one can spot him. He's a light tank plus a camo net, and Algo can pick all he wants. He will never see him. But Algo can afford that because there is no huge tank destroyer here in Utopia lineup. There is no FVTD that can one-shoot him if he keeps peeking, so that's why he's playing so cocky.
So Forbidden there just taking a little shot in the rear as he moves up across the train tracks. Didn't see where that came from at all, or who could have had an angle on him. Who could have shot him from there, Mojo?
Insane. He was crossing in one moment, so probably insane.
Okay, so...
Maybe even mainland from the crossfire. I'm not really sure at what moment he took the shell, but it's only those two.
So the only damage coming out so far is that one single shot onto Forbidden in the AMX 50B. Now, Spoink is making a run up here with Insane on the road beside him. They'd gone up the banana bridge. It looks like they're going to start a cap here with Insane, maybe? Down here at B7, and that's going to provoke a rotation from Utopia, who are sitting all the way down at K1, and they have tanks at J1, and they're going to have to come back up and start getting ready for the incoming fight, which is going to happen.
Nice
in the
police break here. They were just checking out, is maybe Milos here in standard position on a 2 cap with Ice 4, but no one anymore uses that because it's too much of a sacrifice. We've seen a school by Hellfish. There is never enough HE shells, and if you leave a tank there, he stays there.
Yeah. So the rotation, Bihu and Shoku just thinking, should we move up now? Are we okay to move up? Is it only one or is it two? And where is it? Milos should be telling them, well, it's not the A line. It's going to be this B7, C7 area.
So far the pressure is only from Algo, it's one guy. So Utopia knows they have more than enough time to deal with rotations. They don't want to fall in some trap. And there is a trap actually in effect by Oops in a lower part of the city, you can see. They're maybe even hoping that someone will consider mainland to be an easy target by the team. That's why they have 2 clippers covering him hidden in that side street.
So trying to bait out a rotation there from Utopia, but Utopia are not taking it. And I guess at the same time, Oops are going to want to rotate around the opposite way. So it's all just really cloak and daggers at the moment. Who's going to be the first one to make the move and kind of see out the other team's ruse?
This is a risky one. This is a risky one.
Sacrificial lamb Papa Powan's going to go out and get himself shot. So Spoink gets the first shot into him, misses with the second, and Papa Powan's now safe behind that building, but HE will probably come his way.
But he still didn't spot Algo. If he's trying to provoke Grilla to come other way to shoot him, I don't think he will. Silence should stay where he is and wait for the heavy tanks. And Milos is now coming in. So that's a normal reaction.
Milos moving in here. He's going to get a reset in about 20 seconds. As he gets, but a tracking shot is real important. As Spoink can get the shots in as well. Can they protect Algo long enough? They need to get another tracking shot into Milos. Milos is going to get a shot into Algo now. They're trying to protect Algo as Algo backs off. Had they got another tracking shot into Milos, that would have been vital. They would have actually outcapped Utopia. Utopia were just bringing the wraparound there from the rest of the players, as we see.
Shuku is getting hammered.
Shoku had rotated round. Bihu still round there as the tanks and the heavy tanks down south of Oops were getting crossfire into the rest of the team there. Shoku has to be very, very careful he doesn't expose himself through the window. As horrible as that sounds. So the heavy tanks are going to rotate around the banana road here. As we see, Feast are leading the charge here on the heavy tanks, and Melan behind them, and then Camille Eater all loaded up and ready to go. They're going to hunt down for Utopia, try and find targets as Algo's going to rotate all the way around the opposite side.
Now is a good thing for Oops here because they have Milos here stuck, and if they have those HE shells, they can do some number on him a bit before they commit to the other part of the fight. And there will be still enough time for cap pressure. Algo will have enough time to join them. Now, Silence again in position, and entire team of Oops is back in the play. Milos is pretty much stuck there, but you could see how powerful side armor of IS-4 is. When he was closing in, they actually couldn't pen him. And he is running away, so this wouldn't happen. But in the last moments, he was spotted and so much damage came his way.
Milos taking 2 shots in the rear as he tries to get back round into his little hidey hole behind the rubble. Now, Algo's tried to do this rotation all the way around and he stopped. He was in danger of getting hit by Bihu. Papa Powan coming back down there, so we're going to get a little fight down the bottom of the map with the light tanks. Now, Algo can trade. Papa Powan actually takes a hit, so Algo can trade with him. Algo can beat him one-on-one. As you see in here, Insane capping with Melan beside him. Insane, they're just trying to bait somebody out to come around to make a move. Now, Utopia are not quite rotating the way I would expect them to rotate. They're going to come around the
D-line.
D-line.
Getting hammered down by Bihu, but that's okay because they know now the tier 10 tank is completely down. So Algo is buying him a lot of time and he actually didn't kill him. That's even worse because now Algo can be really annoying to them if he doesn't run into Papa Pavian, that is.
I think he's going to drive straight up there. Maybe him and Papa Powan are going to trade. He has slightly more health than Papa Powan, so if they go 1-for-1, he should win that one. But Papa Powan's going to back off. Algo's just playing a little distracting tactics here, delaying
40
tactics.
seconds, guys.
10 seconds left. You need to make a move, Utopia. They're going to come round the back, and they actually have no rear cover here. They're getting the 2 shots on the cap, so the reset, so both Mainland and both Insane are hit. Now, their teammates weren't there to give them a covering fire. Fisha and Camille were not paying attention at all for this rotation, and they weren't able to get the shots as Forbidden and Mucka were able to drive right across that gap. Now, Mucka took a massive amount of damage, but he's still alive. Now, Oops have the health advantage. They need to swing it in their favor. They need to start picking out targets of Utopia and focusing them down.
With 1 minute 45 seconds, we have 3 parallel fights that will happen here. Obvious, first one in the center. Then we have Algo, who needs to control Papa Pavian from running away. And also maybe even Shuku. Algo is actually going to be a crucial player for them running away.
So on Utopia, they've just lost Muka, they've just lost Forbidden. Vilki's now dropped as well. So Fisher is able to get the kill on him. So Utopia have lost 3 tanks. Now, Oops have 1 minute 20 seconds to be able to kill out the rest of the tanks. Utopia can try and run away the clock. They can try and run away. As we can see, Papa Powan and Shoku running down the bottom of the map. They know they need to try and survive.
They're going to do a triple cap pressure because they're just... And Algo! Who killed Shuku?
Algo got a shot onto Fuku.
Fitzer did it from another part of the map. He got a hint of him next to the church by Algo's spot and he shot him out.
That was right in the middle, shooting across the fountain in the middle of the park. So Fisher getting the kill onto Shoku there, which is a vital kill at the moment. Now, they have enough time to triple cap it if Papa Powan was to survive, and Shoku was still surviving as well, so Oops had enough vehicles left to triple cap. Oops actually have all of their tanks alive right now. In this exchange, they're going to 7-0 Utopia, unless Papa Powan can somehow get a drop on someone, which is not likely. So, very, very strong win here from Oops.
Oops can already shoot in the air here. They don't even have to bother.
Super strong win here from Oops, being able to take that 4-3 and not lose a tank in exchange. That is absolutely vital, and if you want a confidence booster going into match point, that's a perfect example.
They absolutely demolished Utopia here, completely outplayed them in every rotation position and whatnot. They expected every move Utopia will do, except that 30-90, probably no one expected that. You just send 30-90 to see what's going on and then go with Milos. Milos had a really bad misfortune there. He did a right call to run away from that position, otherwise he would get wrecked.
Yeah.
But maybe if he did it like 5 seconds earlier, he definitely
wouldn't have taken those shots, because both shots went into the rear of him as he was trying to get back into that position.
And then Oops playing, when the fight started, completely ignoring Milos. They knew it's a slower tank for 1, it's a single shooter for 2. No one gave a damn about him. I was expecting they will maybe send one guy to just 1v1 him because he was on low HP, but they were no. We're going to take care of everyone, and we know Milos is not going to go far. We're just going to come back after.
Yep. So, brilliant play from Oops there to come out with 7 tanks still alive there. Some of them just hanging in there by the skin of their teeth as they had very low HP, but at the end of the day, it's a gun in the battle. So let's have a look at the stats and see where all the damage came from here. Top 4 players all coming out there from Oops. Mainland doing the top damage there in the E5, and Insane coming second in the IS7.
Interesting part, but first time now in the game, Oops is actually in the lead. And you can see the brilliant play for them.
Oops going into the lead, and what happens when Oops goes into the lead? Mainland is top damage.
And he's not playing Arctic.
When he performs, Oops perform.
But
when
look at this.
when he's
Shuku,
not performing, oops, struggle.
Shuku is having a really bad day today in most of the maps. We've seen him on mines getting wrecked, peeking too much also. And here, when he was driving among the heavy tanks, he got really lot of damage. He ended up on one shot, and he was rendered pretty much inoperable till the end of the game. I mean, even if he ran out on Algo would have taken care of him one-on-one. That's the biggest problem.
So let's try and see if we can see this kill at the end. I mean, you said it was Fisa. We're looking at his position. I'm pretty sure it was right over the fountain and getting like the top.
Yeah, it
of the
must be
turret.
because it was over the center. We will see that in moments when after the Bihu dies and so on, when they take care of that, Fitzer came to the fountain and shot from there.
So
And
Shoku,
look at
Shoku
Shuku.
just going past now. He stops. Fischer in the middle by the fountain.
And look at this angle. Bam!
What a shot. What a shot. Right
But
across
why
the
did
fountain.
Shuku even stop there? Did he try to shoot someone?
I think he stopped and wanted to shoot at Algo. I think he stopped and went, oh no, there's Algo.
Algo already ran away, so he maybe wanted actually to shoot with Fitzer and he didn't actually count on him aiming there.
Yeah, we'd have to see it from his point of view, and sadly because of all the other action that was going on
But
at the same
even if he
time,
survived,
yeah,
still, they would just put
triple
triple cap and see
triple
ya.
cap had enough time to win it. So great play there from Oops, who now go into match point against Utopia. Now the teams are going to switch sides. Can Oops make it 5-3? Can they take these points, which are in a way vital for them to go up against Gohard and try and steal third place from Gohard?
This is really actually messing up Utopia. Like they already are in a third tiebreaker in a season, while Ding had only one. So even if they manage to come back in this game and even win it, they will still go a little down, more than they wanted.
And they're only right now 1 point behind Ding. So if they had won this battle, they leapfrog Ding by 2 points.
And they're meeting Ding next.
Yep. And if Oops win this one, then they go on to 19 points. They'll be tied with Gohard, but I don't know the positioning. Who'll be third, who'll be fourth. It comes, I think, down
It's
to
just
head
a
to head.
game difference, and it doesn't really matter for us now because these guys are ready, and we have IS-4 on defense for Oops. We've seen how that tank can soak up a lot of damage, and an FVTD. Now that's a hazard one because if he connects on right moment of the game, he can one-shoot some of these 50Bs, Grilla or whatever. If he misplays, he is just like a dead slot in a team.
Okay, so Oops now defending, Utopia now attacking. I think Oops are going after that last performance. I think it's theirs for the taking.
Don't forget, Utopia played this setup from the very start, and they're really good at rotating and reading the enemy positions.
Okay, so let's jump into round 2 here on Himmelsdorf. Utopia sitting on 3 points, Oops sitting on match point with 4. Can Oops seal the deal, or are Utopia going to take it into tiebreaker? Now, tiebreaker is not great for either of them either. It's not good for both of them. Utopia would guarantee a minimum of 1 point, so they would tie with Ding. If they won, they would only go 1 point ahead of Ding. Oops, if they only got 1 point, would be sitting on 17, so they'd be 2 points behind Gohard. And if they win, they would take 2 points, so they'd be on 18, so they'd be 1 point behind Gohard.
Mate,
So-
I think people lost you on the start. So many points there.
Well, a tiebreaker does nothing for Oops' position, and a tiebreaker only slightly helps Utopia. Ding still have the advantage, he'll still have the points ahead of them.
I'll go try to spot the middle here. Also, there is a lot of displacement here on all over the place from Utopia. We've seen the similar start and similar opening from Oops in the last game. So nothing here special happens. But there is a big counter-attack here immediately from the Oops. Are they going to commit on Milos?
Oops, are you going to go for this? Are you going to get drawn in?
No, they're just here ready for the push. They're ready for the push. They actually want to fight here.
They want somebody to go up there. Insane's going to try and be the bait, but they need to rotate, because if they go left and jump into Insane, that could be dangerous.
Are they far enough so they don't get spotted from the hill? Because all the teams failed in this kind of a cookie because they were too far close. But it looks like Milos and Papapavian are not taking the bait. Maybe right because of the Insane.
So they know Insane's up there. Insane takes a shot back in his face as he gets one into Forbidden. As Milos and Papapavian are going to rotate around, they know they have no worry about shots from behind them because they have that side of the map covered. Now, the rest of the tanks were pushing up from Utopia, but now Shoku and Bihu are going to swing around the bottom of the map.
If they go and they manage to get shots on those guys in the open field, it could be a victory for Oops because the other guys from Utopia are not in position.
The FV is looking for someone to shoot at right now as the AMXs go down the banana road and Insane takes another shot. Papa Pound's now
Let's
getting
see
hit.
this.
Milosh is now getting hit as we see Camille and Mayland and Fischer unloading into Milosh and Papa Pound. Milosh is going to be the one focused fire as they all reload and get a clip into him right now. So Papa Pound's also going to get dropped as well. Papa Pound got smacked in the face. He has 25 health left. Now they're going to turn their guns onto Forbidden. The all-loaders doing what they can. They need to get the clips out, they need to back off. Now they're all backing off. They've reloaded. Guys, get yourself out of there. You can't sit and trade right now. You have nothing to trade with. Insane just waiting for a reload to shoot Papa Pound. Sealance, well, Papa Pound trying to get a shot into Sealance, misses. Insane misses his shot. Insane. Oh, Sealance is out. 3 tanks, bang, 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 just like that, gone. So, Utopia have lost Milosh, Papa Pound, and Forbidden. Oops have lost Fischer and Spoink. Advantage still with Oops right now. They still have more guns than Utopia, but can Utopia get their guns to blame? No, they're actually taking fire back.
No, they're in a problem because they're in reload. They're closing in, so Camille will probably pay the price for it. But even Algo will be a crucial factor now because he is alive and he should occupy some of their attention. Vielki died here, and I think, like, honestly, Muka is in a big problem now also.
This is GG right now, I would say. So, Oops have...
Muka is big enough, so Insane will not miss it.
So Insane gets the shot, Muka gets the shot, but Insane's going to come off reload first before Muka, so this is Muka dead. So this is another tank dropping down from Utopia. They're only going to have 2 tanks left. You're going to have Shoku, AMX50B on 1800.
And Bihu who is on one shot.
AMX50P on 264, which is a one-shot.
Man, Mayland, don't be greedy, mate.
Mayland
not worth
bounces
it.
off the front of Shoku there. Now, Insane on Oops is still alive in IS4. Camille on AMX50B has 105 health. Mayland 397.
Okay, greed pays sometimes.
And Sealance is still alive, and is Algos. This is 5 tanks left for Oops, 1 tank left for Utopia. Oops are going to take this 5-3 mojo. Nice convincing win again from Oops.
If they played like this against Swift yesterday, they would be really high up at the moment. There is so many ifs. If they played like this yesterday, they would be now on 22 points instead of 19. But what can you do? One day is nice, one not so much.
It's like night and day sometimes with these teams. Every time you look at the lineups and you go, well, this should be an easy match for that team, or we expect this to go that team's way, we are constantly getting surprised now in the back half year of Phase 1. So this weekend has been an absolute roller coaster of matches where teams you would expect to be the stronger ones to take the wins are the teams who are actually coming out losing, and some teams were losing quite convincingly. Now, against Utopia and Oops, there wasn't a real, this team's definitely going to win it, because both of them are really, really good teams, and we've saw that in